So joining us now, former governor of Rhode Island, the Honorable Gina Raimondo. She's appearing this morning in her personal capacity to discuss the Harris-Walz campaign. And we're going to stay on the economy because Mike Murphy brought up a great question. Polling is showing this is an issue where there is work that needs to be done by the Harris-Walz campaign. The question, is there a plan? What's the plan? What's the big picture vision? Kamala Harris has done interviews. There's another one being done today, I believe, with Stephanie Ruhle. But on the economy, we've heard her talk about small businesses and giving them a lift. We've heard her talk about helping homeowners with their down payments. These are great, but they are specifics. What's the overall vision that she's going to be talking about today that you know about Kamala Harris's plan for the economy?
Yeah. Well, good morning.
Morning.
Good to be with you. Her plan is really clear. Bring down costs for middle-class America and all Americans. Create more high-paying jobs for everyone with or without a college degree. And most important, stability. I mean, if you talk to any business owner, any business leader, what will they tell you? They're done with the chaos. They need predictability. They need a good business climate. Kamala Harris will, as I said, she's obsessed with bringing down costs, which is what the American people need most. Trump will absolutely increase costs. His tariffs are absolutely going to increase costs. But at the end of the day, Mika, more than any of this, you're choosing between a leader who will bring practical solutions. She is calm, she is smart, she embraces innovation, versus a guy who will bring chaos, unpredictability, and vindictiveness, which will almost certainly, in my judgment, explode the deficit, increase costs, and lead us to a recession.
There's no denying the risks of a Trump presidency. I would be first to say that. I would also say that costs, jobs, and stability are goals. What's the vision to how we get there? And, you know, we are in process right now. We're in the middle. We're nearing the end of the Biden presidency, which has been successful. Regardless of what you might watch on Fox News. It has been an accomplished presidency, historically so, with more bipartisan legislation passed, I think, than any other modern. You can go on and on. And the numbers are going in the right direction. So how does she take the mantle and carry it forward and express a vision to reach these goals?
You know, her vision, as she has said, is a new way forward. She is focused on the middle class. For decades, the gap between business owners and business workers has just exploded. And people are feeling that. They feel it in their pocketbook. And so Kamala Harris, it was interesting, Mike said she talks about McDonald's. She talks about McDonald's because she gets it. She gets where the average person is, and it is expensive. And so she has said, let's bring down your costs. Let's bring down your grocery bills. Let's bring down your housing costs. Let's bring down your child care costs. So the vision is a new way forward in this country where every American, regardless of where you live, where you've started, whether you have a college degree or not, can get a decent paying job to become a middle-class family. And when you go shopping or you go to the grocery store or you take your kids to school, it's affordable.
Jonathan Lemire was talking about the weave that the former president was doing about tariffs. I'm using the former president's term. That's how he talks about things. He talks about a lot of different things, and he says that he gets back to his ultimate point. But he seems to just always get back to tariffs. What's your response to the answer that he gives on why these tariffs are so important? For example, a 200% tariff on John Deere, for example.
It's a horrible idea. He just shoots from the hip with John Deere. It is vindictive, it is petty, it is personal. It is exactly the kind of, you know, chaotic leader that will, I really do believe, Mika, put us into a recession. A 200% tariff, by the way, this is a really important point. The presidential power with tariffs or in a national policy is very strong. So, you know, tax policy, he'd have to work with Congress. But if he decides he wants to do something crazy like a 200% tariff, which will hurt Americans, raise prices, and lose jobs, he could do it as president. which is why, honestly, it's why I'm here in my personal capacity. The stakes are so high in this one. We cannot afford to put him back in the White House.
So since you're here in your personal capacity, your mom, your woman, things like that, I have to ask about Donald Trump saying that he would be our protectors.
Yeah.
He would protect us.
Yeah.
And I get extremely upset when I hear him speaking this way, just because I don't want myself or my daughters protected by a convicted felon who was found liable of sexual abuse in a case that the judge actually said it was tantamount to rape, liable for defaming a woman, bragged out loud that he likes to grab women by their genitals and that they like it.
Yeah.
And it goes on and on and on. Some describe him to be somewhat of a sexual predator. How are we here, number one? And number two, what is your response when you hear Donald Trump on the campaign trail saying that he, the man who brags about overturning Roe and denying life-saving health care to women across America, is a protector of women? How have we gotten here?
I don't know how we've gotten here, but we sure as hell have to get out of here and get Kamala in the White House. I'm a woman. I have a 20-year-old daughter. When I read that, when I saw the protector, it's enraging. It is blood-curdling, and it's BS. It not only is it wrong and a lie, it belittles us. We're not that stupid. We know he's lying, and we don't need his baloney telling us he'll protect us. We know the facts of how he feels about women. He's disrespectful to women, putting it mildly, and he's the one that overturned Roe, exactly what you said. For me, you know, when I was the governor of Rhode Island, I was one of the first governors in the country back in 2019 to codify Roe in state statute in Rhode Island. And at the time I did that, I worked with the legislature. It was because he was president and I feared exactly what would happen. And I said that women of Rhode Island would be protected. That's real protection, stepping up and leading. You know, what he says is the opposite. It's just another lie. Like, how did we get here? Let's extinguish him for good. We have an answer. We have a remarkably talented candidate who is sincere, who's pragmatic, who's open. Let's just get it done.
And extinguish, you mean vote him out?
Yes, absolutely. Vote him out. Banish him from American politics. Yes, just vote him out so he goes away, because it's just not where America, her new way forward, her vision. Let's turn the page on his chaos and craziness, vindictiveness, wrong-headed economic strategy, hatred towards women, and move forward.
Former Democratic governor of Rhode Island, the Honorable Gina Raimondo, it's great to see you again. Thank you so much for coming in to be on the show.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Take care.